The Chicago Bears are standing on the edge of a franchise-altering storm, and the clock is ticking down to the most chaotic 48 hours in professional sports. While the rest of the NFL is preparing to set their salary caps on fire in a desperate bid for glory, General Manager Ryan Poles seems to be playing a high-stakes game of poker that has the entire Windy City holding its breath. The legal tampering period is just hours away, and the tension in Chicago is thick enough to cut with a knife. Are the Bears about to pull off a masterstroke that solidifies this defense for a decade, or are they about to watch the biggest stars in the league sign with their rivals while they sit on their hands? Before we dive into these massive, breaking updates from Jeremy Fowler, do me a huge favor, hit that like button, share this video with every Bears fan you know, and subscribe right now so you never miss a single second of this off-season madness. The rumors are flying faster than a Hail Mary, and the latest reports are starting to paint a very specific, and perhaps frustrating, picture of what's happening inside Halas Hall. For weeks, we've been dreaming of seeing a superstar like Maxx Crosby or Trey Hendrickson wearing the navy and orange, terrorizing quarterbacks at Soldier Field. But this morning, ESPN's Jeremy Fowler dropped a series of nuggets that felt like a cold bucket of ice water over the fan base. According to Fowler, he doesn't sense that Chicago is desperate for a splashy big-name pass rusher. Let that sink in for a second. How can you not be desperate for a pass rush when the rest of the NFC North is loading up on offensive firepower? It's a move that has left fans asking, is Ryan Poles a genius who refuses to overpay, or is he being too cautious while the window of opportunity is wide open? Instead of the blockbuster trades and $100 million contracts we were hoping for, it sounds like the Bears are pivoting toward a much more disciplined, and some might say, boring, strategy. The dream of landing Trey Hendrickson is officially on life support, with sources saying the Bears aren't even in the conversation. Meanwhile, the price tags for younger stars like Odafe Oweh and Jalen Phillips are reportedly skyrocketing north of $20 million per year. For a front office that treats flexibility like a religion, that kind of long-term financial commitment seems to be a bridge too far. We are looking at a market where the Bears might prefer the veteran bargain bin over the superstar showroom. We're talking about names like Cam Jordan, Joey Bosa, or even a reunion with Leonard Floyd. It feels like the plan is to sign a veteran placeholder on a short-term deal and then look to the draft to find the real long-term solution. But let's get into the most controversial name linked to Chicago today, Alex Anzalone. Yes, the former Lion and Saint who many Bears fans have spent years actively rooting against. Fowler is linking him to the Bears as a primary target to fill the void left by the departure of Tremaine Edmunds. The reaction on social media has been immediate and split right down the middle. On one hand, Anzalone is a gritty, high-motor linebacker who knows defensive coordinator Dennis Allen's system inside and out from their days in New Orleans. He's a player who can play the run, drop into coverage, and bring a veteran nastiness to the middle of the field. On the other hand, he's 32 years old, and let's be honest, he's spent a lot of time being the villain in our division games. Question of the day: if the price is right and the contract is short, are you willing to put your personal feelings aside and welcome Alex Anzalone to the Chicago Bears? Or is he a hard no for you regardless of the talent? I want to see your takes in the comments below. Let's get into it. The linebacker situation is officially critical because with TJ Edwards working his way back from a fractured fibula and Edmunds out the door, the middle of this defense is looking dangerously thin. Adding a veteran like Anzalone on a projected 2-year, $14 million deal might be the kind of business move that keeps the defense functional, but it's certainly not the kind of signing that sells jerseys or gets fans lining up for season tickets. It shows that Ryan Poles is more interested in the salary cap spreadsheet than he is in winning a popularity contest. He's betting that a solid veteran is a better investment than a spectacular, but overpriced superstar. Is he right? Only time will tell, but the margin for error is getting smaller by the day. Then we have the secondary, where the situation is officially reaching code red status. As we sit here today, the Chicago Bears have 0 I repeat, 0 safeties under contract. It is a staggering reality for a team that prides itself on defensive identity. The report from Fowler suggests that the Bears' top priority is locking up Kevin Byard before the legal tampering window opens. They want to get a deal done today, but the math is getting incredibly tricky. Byard is 32 years old, and while he was an All-Pro last year with 7 interceptions, the safety market has been reset by younger players like Cam Curl, who just secured a massive $12 million a year contract. If Byard's camp is looking for $14 or $15 million annually, can Ryan Poles really justify that for a player on the back half of his career? If the Bears blink and Byard walks, and with the growing expectation that Jaquan Brisker is almost certainly headed to a new team on a massive payday, Chicago will be starting from absolute scratch in the defensive backfield. We might be looking at a scenario where the Bears are forced to hunt for names like Alohi Gilman, Nick Cross, or Geno Stone just to have warm bodies in the secondary. It's a dangerous game of chicken to play when you have no leverage. Every agent in the league knows the Bears are desperate for safeties, and that usually leads to the kind of massive overpays that Ryan Poles has spent his entire career trying to avoid. If he can't get Byard signed in the next 24 hours, the stress levels in Chicago are going to hit the ceiling. And finally, we have to talk about the ghost that is still haunting this offseason, the Maxx Crosby trade that never happened. It was the trade that dominated the headlines for weeks, the what if that kept us all awake at night. But as the dust settles, the behind-the-scenes reality is finally coming to light. While the Bears were monitoring the situation, they were never the ones pushing the heavy chips to the middle of the table. The Baltimore Ravens ultimately landed Crosby by giving up 2 first-round picks, including a mid-first-rounder in this year's draft. The Bears were never going to match that price, and quite frankly, they shouldn't have. Giving up 2 first-round picks for any defensive player, even one as elite and relentless as Crosby, is a move you make when you are exactly one player away from a Super Bowl. As much as we love this roster, are the Bears truly one defensive end away from a ring? Probably not. Being disciplined in the face of a massive bidding war is a tough pill to swallow for fans who want the best players in the league, but it's the hallmark of a GM who isn't going to mortgage the next 5 years for one individual. Poles offered a first and change, the Raiders got a better offer from Baltimore, and the Bears pivoted. It's a rational decision, even if it's a disappointing one for those of us who wanted to see Crosby in a Bears helmet. So, where does that leave us as we head into free agency eve? It feels like we are headed for a period defined by calculated risks, rather than reckless spending. We might see a surprise move at left tackle, perhaps bringing in someone like Taylor Decker to stabilize the line for Caleb Williams. We might see a flurry of one-year defensive line contracts that keep the cap healthy for 2027. It's not the Madden-style shopping spree that many fans were demanding, but it might be the foundation building that this franchise actually needs to sustain success. The next 48 hours will define the 2026 season for the Chicago Bears. We are either going to look back at this as the moment Ryan Poles built a sustainable contender through discipline, or we'll be lamenting the missed opportunities while our rivals celebrate. The legal tampering window is about to swing wide open, and the NFL landscape is about to be turned upside down. One thing is for certain, the news is going to break fast, and it's going to break hard. Make sure you stay locked in right here, because as soon as those deals start hitting the wire, we will be the first ones to break them down, analyze the film, and tell you exactly what it means for the future of the Chicago Bears. The offseason is finally here. Get ready, because it's going to be a wild ride. Bear down.